Hello again. I am Jan Butz from the Genealogies of Knowledge Research Network, and this is the fourth video of an 8-part interactive series on analyzing patterns and concepts in the Oslo Medical Corpus. In the previous video, I stressed the importance of metadata and of selecting a subcorpus based on this information. The more you know about the material you are working with, the more robust your interpretations will be. An important factor in this regard is geographical information. There are many documents on AIDS and HIV in the OMC, and even though they all relate to the same topic, it matters whether they make reference to the Sahara, the Mediterranean, or the Amazon. Consider the following example from the corpus. You can access such longer stretches of text by selecting a concordance line and clicking on the Show Extract button on the top of the screen. Brazil is home to almost 900,000 indigenous peoples, with indigenous lands representing more than 12% of the country. Altogether, the country has 305 ethnicities speaking 274 different languages. Vinicius Anselmo Lizardo, or Pureenco, in his original Hawaii indigenous name, works as a health worker, mainly in the Amazon region. To help my people, I have to help them understand what health really means to them, he said. Before explaining HIV prevention to a group of Tikuna in their own language, he speaks to them about love, sex, and freedom, and he makes them laugh by teaching them. What this fragment illustrates is that global health communication involves many layers of cultural and linguistic mediation, and this is a multi-directional process. Just like knowledge about HIV prevention is presented in a particular way to the Tikuna, knowledge about the Tikuna is presented in a particular way to us. Communication is not the transparent transmission of plain facts, but always involve acts of omission, foregrounding, and narrative organization. In some settings, people are quick to pick up on such factors. In the domain of cultural production, the book is always better than the movie, which lacks detail, depth, and does not provide an accurate representation of the original. In a similar way, judgments on what constitutes medical misinformation often rely on the standard accusation that something was misrepresented or taken out of context. This is, however, a matter of degree. To share any type of information, we construct stories, and no story is free from constraints imposed by language and medium, or from biases and background assumptions. In fact, shared assumptions about what is or ought to be the case are fundamental to social institutions. In the OMC, the word standard often points to such consensus beliefs and practices. There are standard operating procedures, standard settings, standard treatments, and standard precautions. And when standard conditions do not apply, there is at least tacit agreement on what constitutes an exception. Formulations such as the following are quite common in the corpus. The allergy box is completed before prescribing a new drug, except in exceptional circumstances. Except in exceptional circumstances is not a very informative expression. It only tells us that something is left unsaid or can't be expressed comprehensively. The phrase identifies a gap in standard guidelines and operating procedures and points towards the need for individuals to assess unique situations based on expertise rather than protocol. In this sense, the recognition of exceptions and the consolidation of standards operate in tandem. They both reinforce the boundaries of a particular speech community, a group of people that shares communicative expectations. Text is always produced in a particular social context, and to investigate the function that particular linguistic expressions fulfill, the importance of factors such as geographical location and professional setting should not be underestimated. The boundaries of particular communities who share norms and expectations are communicated through lexical items such as standard, accept, or obvious. These items signal assumptions about the shared norms of the community. Those boundaries are also reflected in the use of a small group of words that fulfills an essential role in any linguistic interaction, namely pronouns. Pronouns often function as in-group and out-group markers, indicating who belongs or who is included in a particular statement or setting. Compare, for instance, lines in the corpus mentioning their health with those referring to our health. Next, search for your body and compare with my body. When you encounter lines such as the housing crisis harms our health, or decisions about your body are yours and yours alone, do you feel addressed? Do you feel invited to either agree or disagree? In case you do, you will recognize that discourse does not consist of isolated statements, but of conversations. You are analyzing text produced by people, and the human factor is fundamental. So when you use the corpus and you try to make sense of contextual features, pay attention to the people involved. Who is speaking and who is addressed? Who is represented? Who is not? And in what way?